With thousands of dollars on the line, picking the best loan product, and honestly, just closing on time, choosing the best lender is absolutely critical. Today, I'm going to give you 3 things to think about while you're picking your lender.
You better get fired up!
Alright guys, so picking your lender is monstrous because you want to pick the best real estate team before you move forward with your transaction. So that's your realtor, it's your inspector, it's having a good appraiser, it's having a good lender. You want your whole team crushing it for you. So today, I want to give you 3 big things that you can do to make sure that the lender, that part of your team, is doing a phenomenal job for you. So I think it's important before we get into any of these details to talk about some of the potential issues that you could have, right? Because if you know some of the issues, you can understand why I'm recommending some of the things I'm recommending. So when I've dealt with lenders in the past, I'm just gonna mention a couple issues that I've had so that you can understand why I'm saying what I'm saying. I've had lenders before who get the deal going and then they kind of forget about it, and then we get about 2, 3, 4 days before closing and everything seems to be rushed, right? And a lot of times what happens is it results in the loan not closing on time, or maybe not closing at all, right? You can have a lot of different factors happen while you're in the middle of a loan, and if you don't have a lender explaining to you that you shouldn't be doing certain things, like buying a brand new car, buying a brand new house, taking out a new credit card, it might impact your ability to actually close on that loan. So you want someone who communicates really well with you and talks with you throughout the process to make sure that you're doing or not doing the things that you should be doing or not doing, right? So let's get right to it. Number 1, right? And of course I'm the realtor, so I'm gonna say this is the biggest one, but I think the best thing you could do when finding a lender is to ask the realtor you're working with. I, as your realtor, am gonna have somebody, or maybe a couple, that I really love working with. And if I love working with them, there's a reason I love working with them, right? You gotta think from a realtor's perspective, I want to get the transaction closed. That's how a realtor gets paid. I want to find somebody that I know is not only going to get that closed, which is what you want as a buyer, but they're also going to give you phenomenal service. Because if your team, right, gives you phenomenal service throughout the entire transaction, you're gonna be happy with me and you're gonna wanna use me again. If I'm giving you poor referrals or you're getting bad service, it's gonna reflect poorly on me and I'm not gonna like that. So it's very easy to trust the recommendation of your realtor because they have skin in the game. They want to see you win too. So the first thing I would do is ask your realtor, do you have a lender that you would recommend me using? They might have 1 or 2. It might depend upon your situation or the loan you're using, but they're going to have a recommendation for you. All right, guys, before we go any further, if you love the statistics that I'm throwing out, go check out my Facebook business page, or you can go over to my Instagram page and you can subscribe or follow me and get tons of great stats daily. All right, number 2, ask the lender if they can give you past referrals, and don't just ask for past referrals, ask for the most recent 2 or 3, right? So just say, hey, the last 2, 3 people that you closed on a loan with, can I get their contact information? Ask them if it's okay if I reach out to them, and I'd love to call them and see how the transaction went. Yes, it does take 2, 3, 4 minutes out of your time, but honestly, if it saves you a nightmare of a transaction, you're gonna be glad that you did it, right? So give them a call and ask them, how did the transaction go? How was the communication? Did you feel like you knew what was going on throughout the entire transaction, or were you kind of lost in the sauce, right? Find out how they felt about it, and they're gonna tell you, they're gonna be honest with you, especially if that lender's not a part of the conversation, and now you know exactly what you're likely to get, right? It also lets you know one of 2 things, right? If the last one they gave you closed 2 months ago, and the other one they gave you closed 7 months ago, either A, they don't do a lot of business, so you might want to be a little wary of that, right? Just be careful. You want someone who does a lot of business and is very experienced with today's loan products. And B, they might be cherry picking. They might be going after the people who they know are going to give them the good reviews, skipping over a lot of the people who aren't. So just be wary of that and ask them when they actually closed on their home with that lender. All right, and then the last one is a big one. It's actually interviewing 2 to 3 lenders, right? So after you get the 1 or 2 recommendations from your realtor. Maybe you look up one on Yelp or Google or wherever it is you're gonna find one. Actually sit down with them and ask them, hey, here's my situation. This is how much money I'm thinking about putting down. This is my income. This is my rough credit. And before they run your credit score, because you don't want everybody running your credit score on day one, actually ask them what they would do. Would you put me into a VA loan, an FHA loan, a conventional loan? What would you recommend me putting down? What do you think my rate is going to be, and how's that going to impact my monthly payment? You can ask them all those questions, and the answers that they're going to give you are going to really let you know how you can feel moving forward with them, right? If their answers are smooth and rehearsed, and you feel like they've said this a million times, it's probably because they have, right? If they say, hey, listen, a lot of people will put you in an FHA or conventional, but because you're a vet, I think a VA would work because you're looking to put zero down, right? This would really help you have that cash on hand that you want because of what you told me, or whatever your scenario is, right? But if they guide you towards a loan product that nobody else is guiding you towards, and most importantly, they can tell you why, that might be a great lender, right? And then whatever they tell you, whatever you're comfortable with, go back and talk with your realtor and say, listen, I talked to A, B, and C, I'm a little more comfortable with B, this is why, what do you think? And have that conversation, right? All right, guys, those are the 3 big things that you need to consider when looking for that brand new lender. If you have any questions, you want to reach out to me, feel free again to go over to the Facebook page, or you can check out my Instagram, comment below, like it, subscribe, and hey, you guys stay fired up.